Hi, this is Kim Pinkney, and this is You Know How We Roll, and it's concept art for Jessica's Thia character. And from her description, and I'll probably show some of the notes that I have for her D&D character, and possibly either coloring pages and or let's see, or a web comic. So let me get started here, and I just wanted to draw the body, and I haven't decided. I don't like just starting off with just you know, doing the body in 3/4. Just doing like the perspectives of the body. I kind of want to get a feel for the character. So from the description that I got from her, she is an adventurer, and so I decided to just start her out adventuring. I have no idea what she's going to look like, except from the description that I have. She is wearing pants. She is going to be, I love D&D. I used to play back in the day, and I love fantasy realms. So with that in mind, I just want to start her out in the dungeon. And I figure that since she's 5'5" and 144 pounds, she's got some weight behind her. She's got some muscle tone or whatnot. She is wearing pants with a split tunic. I think it's very long. She's got boots and leather armor basically, and she's an elf. So I'm having her. I was thinking of maybe having her be a little bit. She's walking through a dungeon, but it has like bones and stuff. So maybe I'm thinking she's crunching on bones or something like that. And dungeons are dark, and I've got to show some markings. So I have her holding a torch, but with me, it can't just be a regular torch. It's got to be a crazy torch. So I made some kind of little foxfire guy, and I thought it would be cool if he looked like a fox more than anything, but I didn't come up with that idea until later. Um, and I want this kind of to be a conjured living, kind of like a demonish type fire. So it's like, let me touch something, just let me touch something. Like when fire gets on something, it just like burns the crap out of it. Well, I want this thing to be kind of like a living fire. It just wants to consume, and it's hungry, and it's like, let me touch something. And then I want the torch to kind of be something like maybe a demon or a magic user, more a tiny magic user, and she cut his arm off and made it into a torch. So whenever she needs a torch, it casts fire for her, and it just conjures up that creature. So that's kind of what I had in my mind when I was drawing this. Alright, still don't know what I'm going to put on her except by what I have on her description, and she gave me a really great one with what she's wearing. So it's hard to go wrong on it. Um, she is an elf with very long hair, and she's wearing a cloak. So I'm like, okay, and I'm looking at the cloak, and it's like all the way down to like almost mid calf. That's how long and flowing it is. And I was working on her arm, and I'm like, you know what, maybe this cloak will come over that arm a little bit. So I started bringing it down, and I'm like, yeah, this cloak has got to be like something like a nightmare inside of a dungeon. So I decided to add that in there. She does have a marking on her forearm, and it looks like a cross, but it's like crossed in the center too. So I'm like, you know what? This could be a scar, and maybe it lights up or something under her skin when she's in danger. I'm like, you don't know. I don't know. But I just threw it on there. I didn't color it in because I don't know what color it is, but I think a scar would be kind of nifty, and that scar can be like anything after this. And then also she's got these three bands on her let's see, up on her upper arm, next to her shoulder, where her shoulder meets her arm. And I was trying to show that too, without obscuring it. And the top part of the band is big, and the other two are thinner. and I'm adding that in there. That could be a tattoo, it could be an actual band, not sure yet. So I just put them in there kind of vague. I might make them into a tattoo. Right now I'm trying to figure out how I could show her sword, and I just threw the sword on in there. And then I'm thinking maybe she's hitting something. Maybe at this little awkward angle in the darkness she's hitting something. And the only thing you can see is what this like crazy fire is showing you. You know how like fire crackles? It'd be funny if the thing was like, let me burn, fire, fire, I would love to hear something like that. But anyway, so I was thinking, well, maybe she's fighting a little creature or something like that. Maybe and she's just spearing it through the head. And then I was like, well, maybe it's gripping her sword at the very blade. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. She is in a dungeon, and she just stepped on something. Could be a skull, could be somebody else's skull, could be the monster itself. So I'm working that in there, and still just trying to get the basic how this thing is fitting. So now it goes from her breaking something into something, an actual attack of some sort. I still don't have a face, and still trying to work out exactly how her body's working, because when you are unexpectedly attacking something, you're not going to be graceful at it. So she's not graceful in this. And then here's the three bands I'm trying to add in there as well. And since she's kind of struggling, I think her last resort is to throw that fire on there, because maybe that fire is just a little bit more consuming than it should be. Maybe it'll take her sword and the creature and everything else. So it doesn't look like she's using that just yet. So now I've got something gripping her sword, and I was thinking, you know what? What if it was like tentacles? What if there were like bone tentacles coming out of the ground, and she just stepped into a trap? And so I started working these bones into the picture. And mind you, this was only supposed to be a concept picture for the character. I'm going to be working on, the different views of her character in a bit, but this was fun. So I started wrapping more things around her, and thinking about how impractical her outfit is sometimes. Good in some places, but not in this dungeon. So, you really don't want too many loose-fitting clothes in the dungeon with Kim drawing it. So now I have her leg kind of bracing back, kind of giving her a little bit more leverage on the backside. I hate this pencil. I'm using it anyway. It's the first one I could find. So I have her just trying to pull back a little bit now, instead of just walking forward. And from the ground are hands and tentacle thingies, but they're bone and skeletal. And one of them has gripped her tunic, and it's pulling. And this gives me and it splits in the center. There's like one big sheath in the front. She's got the leather armor, her boobage there. And she's just trying to pull her way out of it. It was unexpected. This whole thing is unexpected, so I'm just going with it. Sometimes drawings evolve. And so now I have the thing coming out of the ground, and so I'm just trying to flesh it out just a smidge. Everything is super, super rough, because it's just a concept, just an idea. So now I just kept in mind that if it's pulling on her, it's gonna have some, it's gonna start showing the folds and stuff like that. So I start adding that in there, and it's pulling, and then something else grabs her part of her shirt, so it's grabbing that and it's pulling. So not only is she trying to get her sword free, she is she's trying to pull herself free, and she doesn't want to use that fire just yet. I think that fire is going to be an end game type of thing, and also last resort. So we're trying to capture her in the midst of, what do you do when you're in a dungeon and this is happening. So she's still working the sword. I kept it kind of plain. I didn't throw anything really hardcore into it because I'm supposed to be focusing on the character herself. But I'm having too much fun with this, so I'm just going to keep going with it. Um, she's got those kind of split type boots that have like the cuff, and so I start having things start pulling on that. She's got in her image she has a um, band around her thigh, I guess for daggers, but I didn't put any daggers in that just yet. Didn't know how many, if she carried, if she had multiples like darts, or if she just had one. So I'll clarify that later. I got one tentacle-like thing going around, pulling her shirt. Got another one still getting ready to come out the ground, and it's pulling, different parts of her. And you can tell which parts are being pulled. And then I have on her arm that something came out and grabbed her arm, but she looks like she broke that free. So she's not worried about that. And this is my thought process through this thing. It's like, okay, alright. And so as I'm doing that, I'm still trying to figure out, these things are coming out of the ground. What kind of monster would it be? It could be a skull with a, what was it called? Kind of like a squid, because it is kind of like tentacles that I was kind of thinking of. Love the tentacles. Love the tentacles in Japanese anime and mangas. Okay, so anyway. Let's see. So now I've got this, they're still trying to get around her sword, and she's trying to figure it out. It's still a little warped. And I wanted to draw some kind of like lines that show, movement, but I'm like, nah, just keep going. Okay, so now I've got her foot stepping on the head of the skull, the squid-like thing. She may have stepped on it in the dark. And now we kind of see what's going on around her. And so it automatically just wraps around. And I wanted to kind of show eyeballs bulging out, and so of the skull thing. And I still haven't even got to her face yet. And so right now I'm just giving myself a little bit of depth to it by throwing some shadows in there. And still don't know what I want to do with her face at this point. How I'm going to have her look. Well, she doesn't look like she's panicking, not yet. Maybe just happened suddenly, and she's just caught by surprise. There we go. Throw a little bit more depth, and now I'm trying to figure out how much light do we see, how's the light playing. Okay, so now I'm about to get to the face. And I'm doing a voiceover because the sound quality was really crappy. But, so I decided that as I'm drawing her, she is going to be looking down at whatever's attacking her. And then I have to decide, what kind of expression is she going to have. So right now, her eyes are wide. And, like, if you're drawing characters, the further away the upper lid is, the more surprised that your character's going to look. And I'm drawing some lines just to annotate that the direction that the face is going, and her nose is going to be on that line. I just got to keep in mind that the head is round. It's so tempting to draw things flat when you're in the midst here. So I'm trying to give her delicate elven features, but try to still keep her pretty. And I'm trying to decide in between a simple simple drawing type thing like anime versus like my Disney-esque slash I don't want to say Hanna-Barbera style of drawing. Do I want to have it? And I kind of decided I want to be in between realistic and cartoony. Probably more on the I don't know if it would be considered a realistic cartoon. I don't know. I wanted it almost like how they draw the Avatar, but it'll be in my own style. So it's going to be less anime, but more of like a really expressive faces. Now, at first, I have her being pissed. Um, I'm like, well, how would you act if you were going through a dungeon and the first thing you do is you step on a trap and it's like, okay, this sucks. It's like ruining my day. But then I started thinking, you know what? She's an adventurer. She lives for this crap, or lives to die for this crap. So I start to change her expression a bit. I start to make her a little bit happier about being there. It's like, yeah, I needed a workout, this morning. It's arms day or something like that. Working on her arms or something like that. So her expression will be changing. Yeah, like an ear to ear smile. It's like, yeah, yeah, bring it on. It's like, you think you could take me? Really? Really? That sort of thing. It's like, I'm loving this. This is the best you can do. Now, Thea is a character of certain alignments. I don't want to give too much away. And um, things like this don't phase her. She sees things like this every day. It's nothing. Yeah, I wanted to show more of her face, so I start to erase a little bit of the side here that has her shoulder sticking out as far as it is. Because I just wanted to show a little bit more, just a little bit more expression. And I'm moving forward here, so I'm going to erase. Yeah, I wanted a really broad smile. She's like really totally getting into this. I'm like, okay, yeah, nice arm workout. And supposedly she's got copper skin and mahogany hair. Um, let's see. And so I'm gonna ease into it a little bit so that her face is more is showing a little bit more. We can see a little bit more of her face. Now, I wanted to give her maybe a cleft chin or something that has her just stand out from the rest of um, heroic folk. She's a tough chick. She's not scared of anything. She doesn't need anybody to rescue her. Now, I'm still going to try to work on the face and in the three-quarters view and all the different perspectives. Just to see if I can for the consistency and stuff like that for future pictures. So she almost looks crazy. She loves this. And she's a wood elf. I've never seen a wood elf before, but apparently she's just 5'4" or 5'5", something like that. And she's got a little bit of weight behind her, so she's not the biggest, the most gentlest creatures, I suppose, or the most lithe of elvish women. So she looks like she can handle her own. Okay, now I need to go ahead and make sure I get the ears in there. She doesn't annotate that she's got any jewelry on, so I just kept it simple. She didn't annotate age either, so I've pretty much got her probably in her, looking like she's in her 20s. She's probably like 50 or something like that. Being an elf and all, they age weird. Or they age slowly. Yeah, the one thing I hate about this is I didn't have my eraser near me, the one that has the kneaded eraser. So, and when you have an eraser on the back of your pencil, you're tempted to use it, and each time I'm like, I hate this, I hate it. So eventually I get off my buns and find my kneaded eraser and start using that. But I can't stand the dust. I'm so spoiled. Okay, and I'm gonna give her just a hint of a dimple. Okay. So I'm looking at her and deciding I'm going to do her hair. Her hair is very full, very long. It goes all the way down to her back, I believe, a little bit further. And let's see, it's very fluffy on the top. I'm surprised I didn't move this up so we could see it better. Yeah, that's the downside of drawing with a GoPro. It's like you just can't see what it's recording until the very end. Hopefully I zoom out so that we can see it a lot better. But she's got tendrils of hair that come out. But her hair is pulled up into a very, very high ponytail. And it's a pretty full ponytail. Yeah, here I am looking for the eraser because I just got fed up. It's like, ugh. Alright, so now I finally bring it down a little bit. And then there's the top of her head. And she did a pretty good job with her description. So now I just have like some tendrils of hair coming down, and they're wild. I like to give nice thick eyebrows so you can see the expression. I mean, really see the expression. figure she's like an outdoorsy kind of girl, so she doesn't have time to pretty herself up all the time. That's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern is survival and make lots of money. Um, so let's see. Her hair comes down in the back. Yeah, elves have like that Mulan hair that's just like full and all over the place. It has a personality and zip code of its own. When I bring this into Flash, I'm going to throw some really nice lines on it so you can see what's going on. And you can color it. If you download this from my Etsy site, I'll let you know when it's up. I'll probably just announce when it's up. You can download the coloring, and if we get published or when we set up a you know how we roll site, I'll go ahead and post folks who have finished coloring. I would love to see how your images are. Test your coloring skills. And you can do it any way you want. Like that fire right there does not have to be like red hot fire. It could be a green fire or a purple fire. You don't know what you're summoning sometimes. It's not your hand. You just want fire. And the color of the fire will change the color of the lighting as well. So instead of it with a yellow light that shows more of her accurate color, it could have purple tinges and green tinges. You never know. And so now all I'm doing right now is just coloring in some spots that kind of look ambiguous to me, and still working on her hair. And then I was thinking, as she's moving around and whatnot, her hair should be moving too. So I was trying to get kind of like the struggle with the hair going on too, but since this is a static image, I can only capture so much. So her hair is kind of like all over the place. Let's see, I figure that this little struggle has just happened since she hasn't broken a sweat, so. And I'm probably just going around erasing some things because the whole paper's like brown from me touching it, and erasing and just smearing some of this pencil around. And I'm really just like, yeah, she's got that big happy smile. So glad to be there. Or it could be like a manic look where it's like, really? This is what's going to do me in? Is this how I'm going to face my end? Really? That sort of thing. Yeah, I'm probably trying to erase a little bit more. And then there's a little line that I got disgusted with that wouldn't go away at all. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to have to work with it. There's the line. It's like, God dandruff, it won't go away. So I'm like, okay, bump it. I'll just work with it. Work with it. And then her upper chest piece splits into half like that, so you can see where the split is between the sword. I'm still just erasing some stray lines, some of the darkness and stuff like that. There we go. So now this is pretty much the final image of, or final rough image that I have before I go back to Jessica and get her approval that it's good to go. And if it is, I'm going to go ahead and finalize it with hard outlines and stuff. I'm going to probably bring it into Flash, and then I'll go ahead and upload it to my Etsy site, and go ahead and make it into a coloring page. So this is Thea. Got her big ponytail going on. Just make sure I emphasize that so I don't forget. She's got hair for days. Cause I are elf. There we are. You got the Foxfire guy, and God, it sounds so cool to be a fox. I gotta turn that into a fox. Okay, and then there we go. That stupid line that won't go away. That's okay. It's all right. I'm not upset with that. All right, and then got the little creature here who doesn't really matter too much. He's the trap. Got her boots going on. Got the little things pulling on her outfit, and she's enjoying herself. Alrighty, don't forget to like and subscribe to catch the next one, or there are 4 characters that I'm starting with right now, and the next one that I might be showing is going to be this guy right here. He's the Brad Pitt of dwarves, Galadier. So I'm still trying to flesh him out, and I'll be having some videos where I'm still trying to figure out how to get his beard going. But he's got this beard. He wears an angry mug, which gives him some powers. Anybody who puts that mug on their head gets some powers. And then he's got this battle hammer, warhammer, and it's jewel encrusted. So I can't wait to bejewel the bastard that thing. I think maybe it should change a bit. Maybe he's cool with magic. You know, one of those elves that are cool with, or I'm sorry, dwarves that are cool with magic. So anyway, he's going to be the next beast that I'm going to be working on. And I just think he's like, you know, he's supposed to be like, oh, I gotta fix those ears. If I don't do anything else, fix the damn ears. He hates well, he likes to definitely let elves know that, or calls them pointy-eared bastards or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, he's gonna have a mohawk underneath that angry mug. And that's the next guy. So please like and subscribe, and catch the next one. Thank you for watching, and you know how we roll. I hope you roll all 20s, okay? Have a great one. Bye-bye.